Of course, India baiters and haters fume.
Grand G20 Namastey from Srinagar. Jammu and Kashmir capital shines on global stage. Even superstars are shining there. Biggest message after end of Article 370. Nobody is missing China and Turkey here. India's enemies are simmering today. Srinagar shining in G20 super glow. Big focus on News Track.
And this is India showcasing the tourism potential of Jammu and Kashmir to the world after the defanging of Article 370. China frets, Pakistan fumes. But why are some within our country so upset? I'm Gaurav Sawant. India makes a point at home and across 7 seas. That's our top focus on the show. But as always, let's get started with the headlines at 8. Prime Minister Narendra Modi receives a grand welcome in Sydney. Mega diaspora event and bilaterals with the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in the next 48 hours. Nitish Kumar convinces the Congress to support the Aam Aadmi Party on the Delhi Ordnance controversy. A meeting of all opposition parties to be held soon. Old politics erupts over new parliament. Opposition demands that the new Lok Sabha be inaugurated by President Draupadi Murmu and not Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Karnataka teacher suspended for criticizing Chief Minister Siddaramaiah over Congress freebies. The new Karnataka state government's action triggers massive outrage. Fresh clashes and tension erupts in Manipur after Kuki and Meitei communities clash again. Curfew reimposed in Imphal. It is a grand G20 Namaste from Srinagar. First time since the abrogation of Article 370, Srinagar is shining on the world stage. Srinagar, of course, is dancing to Ramcharan's Natu 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 and not to the Band and Hartal calls from across the line of control. The valley, once seen as a hotbed of radical Islamist terror, is now the new diplomatic hub. It's Srinagar and India shining. India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan and a Kashmir Bureau Chief Ashraf Wani, who bring you a top story from Srinagar.
Magnificent Kashmiri folk dance. Drums, music and frolic in the valley. Superstar power in full display. Ram Charan landing in the valley. Delegates in colourful saffron turbans. Radiating India's soft power on global stage. G20 comes to the heaven on earth. This is the first grand international event in Naya Kashmir. Parts of Kashmir, once a terror hotbed, turning into diplomacy hub.
G20 के जितने भी डेलीगेट्स हैं उनके स्वागत के लिए सुरक्षा के भारी भरकम इंतजाम आप यहां पर देख सकते हैं। सारी जो डेलीगेट कंट्रीज हैं उन सब के सदस्य इस समय यहां पर पहुंचना शुरू हो गए हैं और एक एक करके अलग अलग तरह की बैठकें जो कि पर्यटन के लिहाज से बहुत अहम रहेंगी, न केवल G20 के सदस्य देशों के लिए बल्कि कश्मीर के लिए अपनी एक अलग तस्वीर पूरी दुनिया के सामने पेश करने के लिहाज से।
Srinagar city has been spruced up for the 3-day mega G20 working group meet, putting the best face forward of its improving fortunes. breaking free from decades of terror and tumult.
कश्मीर को विश्व का स्वर्ग कहा जाता है और है भी। कुछ लोगों ने मिलिटेंसी के कारण से या इस प्रकार के हालात यहां पर बनाए कि कश्मीर से धीरे धीरे जो टूरिज्म था वो सारा डाइवर्ट हो गया। धारा 370 तोड़ने के बाद परिस्थितियां बदली हैं और एक डेवलपमेंट का दौर चला है। लोगों का माइंडसेट काफी चेंज हुआ।
Beautiful facelift has been given to parts of Srinagar city and roads leading to Sher-e-Kashmir International Convention Center, the venue for the G20 meeting.
अगर किसी आयोजन के समय हम ये सामान्य यहाँ की व्यवस्था देख रहे हैं, यहाँ पर लाल चौक पे भले ही आप कंस्ट्रक्शन इस समय देख रहे हो जो कि ब्यूटिफिकेशन के ड्राइव का हिस्सा बताया जा रहा है, लेकिन ये भी एक सामान्य होती जिंदगी की तरफ बढ़ता हुआ कदम है। यहाँ सुरक्षा कर्मियों की नाम मात्र तैनाती इस बात का संकेत है कि जम्मू कश्मीर बदल चुका है, चाहे पाकिस्तान चीन अपनी तरफ से जिस एजेंडा को आगे बढ़ाना चाहे।
Locals in the valley are elated with the big tourism boost the event will bring along.
I believe कि हम आर्टिस्ट के लिए एक गेटवे खुलेगा और अपॉर्चुनिटीज खुलेंगी, मिलेंगी।
As Kashmir turns a new leaf, usual suspects Pakistan and China are sulking. Beijing skipped the Srinagar meet, calling Kashmir a disputed land. Saudi Arabia did not register for the Kashmir event.
However, we are given to understand that Turkey and Saudi Arabia, their industry representatives will turn up over here in Srinagar for the meeting. So, industry representatives but no official representation from these four nations. This is to do with the problem of Kashmir, the dispute of Kashmir.
Srinagar is under massive security blanket to ensure that the high-profile event passes off peacefully. With Geeta Mohan, Shweta Singh and Ashraf Wani in Srinagar, Bureau Report, India Today.
And what are people saying about this in Kashmir? Not just people in Jammu and Kashmir or people from rest of the country. There are several influencers. This is the era of social media. I want to bring you a short report. Of course, it's in Arabic. This is a Saudi Arabian influencer who calls Jammu and Kashmir paradise on earth. And he's talking about these images, and watch those images when he says, this isn't Switzerland, this isn't Austria, it's India's Jammu and Kashmir. Take a look at this short report.
هني مو بالنمسا ولا سويسرا، هني الهند، هذا كشمير. نحن هنا في كشمير في الهند، بلد التسامح، بلد التعايش، بلد تريد التطور، تريد التقدم، بلد الجمال.
So are Band calls and Hartal calls ordered by Pakistan ISI handlers a relic of a bygone era in Naya Kashmir? Or is there merit in the PDP chief and former chief minister of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir, Mehbooba Mufti, saying Kashmir has been converted into a Guantanamo Bay for the G20 tourism meet? Or is this a significant new dawn for Kashmir? Or tamasha, as Umar Abdullah, another former chief minister of the erstwhile state of J&K, puts it? Joining me on this News Track special, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha and leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Ambassador Meera Shankar is former Indian ambassador to the United States. We have a number of other guests also joining us from Jammu and Kashmir. But I want to begin by asking you, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Mehbooba Mufti has compared security in Kashmir for G20 to Guantanamo Bay. What message is the government sending out to the world when voices within the country actually end up staying, and voices like a former chief minister of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir saying Kashmir is like Guantanamo Bay today?
Actually, if you look, Mehbooba Mufti uses to give this type of statement after they have seen that there seems to be no reversal of fortune for them in the coming years, particularly after Article 370 has been abrogated. But I want to say one thing, that look at today's Kashmir. There uses to be a time that for 10 years not even the governor of Jammu Kashmir was having the capability to hoist the national flag on Lal Chowk even on 26th January or 15th of August. I am talking about 1988 to 98. BJP's commitment was that, if you remember, in 1992, our then party president, Dr. Murli Manohar Joshi, has taken up the yatra to hoist the flag, and present Prime Minister, as a youth leader, was a convener of that. And from there, the flags of 20 countries hoisting in Kashmir, and that too, when India is sharing that G20 summit, don't you think that such a huge change, transformation has taken place? And Mehbooba Mufti is the same person who uses to say, अगर 370 हटी तो तिरंगे को कंधे देने वाला कोई नहीं मिलेगा. And you have seen on 26th of January this year, there was an array of tricolors on Dal Lake. और आज तो तिरंगा छोड़िए 20-20 झंडे तिरंगे के साथ दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं. फिर भी if somebody doesn't want to see, I think they have to come out from their blinkers. Then they will be able to see. A lot of water has flown in Jhelum in the last 4 or 5 years. Okay. But somehow Mehbooba Mufti and Umar Abdullah type of people who have got stuck back in the time of pre-2014, I think they are not being able to perceive what the reality is.
Okay, I'll take that to both the PDP and the National Conference on the broadcast. But Ambassador Meera Shankar, I want to bring you in quickly. What should India make of countries like China staying away, or countries like Turkey not being there officially, despite India's help during the earthquake?
Well, this is their choice. I mean, they've chosen to stay away. But as far as India is concerned, we have always believed that J&K is an integral part of India and that it should be treated as such. Hosting this G20 meeting on tourism, working group meeting in J&K is very much part of this approach. Also, if you look at the economy of J&K,
yes,
it is an economy which depends heavily on tourism, which had been affected in recent years. It's been reviving. And this year, according to Mr. Shringla, the coordinator for G20, they are expecting about 20 million tourists to visit J&K. So this is something which will bring prosperity and will bring development to J&K, whose economy has been, under stress because of the situation there, which prevented tourism from taking off.
200 million, absolutely. So let's take this point by point. I mean, 1.88 crore tourists this year, the highest ever. But Najmu Saqib, we can understand Pakistan being upset. We can understand China staying away. But why is Mehbooba Mufti so upset if more tourists come to J&K? Because government says 1.88 crore tourists visited J&K in 2022, the highest ever. How is this Guantanamo Bay, sir?
Well, look, Gaurav, we have nothing against promotion of Kashmir as a tourist destination. In fact, our party worked tirelessly for the promotion of tourism sector in Kashmir. I mean, it was Mufti Saab-led government, who resuscitated that tourism sector in Kashmir post 1999 Kargil war. I mean, having said that, Gaurav, Kashmiris have been caged. Look, for this, I mean, it should have been a celebration in any part of the country, right? But we have been caged. Hundreds of youngsters have been picked up and lodged in jails, right? Our education system has been, shut down. And my students are suffering. I mean, there was those students who actually had to write exam. They couldn't reach the examination centers. Schools were shut down. Raids were ongoing for last 7 days. There have been continuous raids ongoing in Srinagar. Only way of saying is that for any event, why do you turn Kashmir into a cage?
Sudhanshu Trivedi ji,
there's such a heavy presence of security forces in Kashmir.
Let me get Sudhanshu Trivedi to respond. Let me get Sudhanshu Trivedi to respond. You've raised some points.
30 seconds, and after that, Sudhanshu ji can again, Look, our point is that if it is such a successful event, can Government of India put a date? When will all these countries remove the travel advisories they have for Kashmir? If the government of India is so serious about promotion of Kashmir, why don't they work towards it? We have time and again written to government of India that they should take it up with these countries to remove
Okay,
travel
Sudhanshu
advisories. Why have they
Trivedi,
not
I'll get
removed
both
it?
Sudhanshu Trivedi and Ambassador Meera Shankar to respond, but please go first, sir. The Kashmir is like a cage, as Najmu Saqib puts it.
I think he has not heard my previous statement. He is talking about the security arrangement and others. I have told that even the governor was not having the capability to hoist the national flag. And I would also like to remind which type of change has come. You know, sir, when was the last one-day international match in Srinagar? Do you remember? You won't be remembering. It was in 1983 between India and West Indies after the World Cup. And you know what happened? It has to be abandoned in between because there were so many slogans, anti-India slogans and pro-Pakistani slogans, and the match was abandoned. You know which was the last Hindi movie which has been shooted in Jammu Kashmir, a usual movie. It was Bemisal of Amitabh Bachchan in 1982. And after that, only terrorism-related movies have got shooting in which the terrorist forces were thinking that in a way their view has also been incorporated. साहब इतना बड़ा change आ गया, and still you say that from that time to this time, and movie theaters have stopped, industries have stopped. Now for the first time the Middle East countries have sent their business delegation for investment, and has already been told 1.88 crore tourists have come. The incidences of terrorism has come down sharply. The 2 IITs and IIMs have been established in Jammu. All these things is happening, but unfortunately those who want to take Kashmir as their personal fiefdom, they are seeing upset. I can say the Kashmir is entering into a new era of liberalization. But those forces who want to have the monopoly and fiefdom on the development of Kashmir, and practically they denied an average Kashmiri for their legitimate due, they are making the hue and cry.
Basically, आप कह रहे हैं दुकानें बंद हो रही हैं, इसीलिए कुछ लोग नाराज हैं. नजमू साकिब जी, जवाब दीजिए. दुकानें बंद हो रही हैं, आतंक के नाम पर दुकान चला रहे थे लोग, वो दुकानें अब बंद हो रही हैं. Najmu Saqib.
Gaurav, what are we even talking about? We have not been, I mean, it's been 30, it's our rail project to Kashmir was conceived in 80s, and it's close to 4 decades now. We don't have a rail connection to Kashmir after 4 decades and 10 years of their government as well. So let's not,
गृह मंत्री कौन था देश का? गृह मंत्री उस समय कौन था देश का? ये तो आप खुद ही बताइए. महबूबा मुफ्ती के पिताजी ही थे.
Sudhanshu ji, a free field. I expect the same courtesy.
Facts. Absolutely. I want an argument for pure facts.
If you have a question on that, then we can take the argument further. So my point is simple. My point is that our question from them is, when will these countries remove the travel advisories from Kashmir? That's
fair
number
enough.
one point.
You've made that point. Sir, you're repeating your point. Since you made that point, I will get Ambassador Meera Shankar. Let me get Ambassador Meera Shankar to respond to the travel advisory point. Sir, क्योंकि time कम है तो repetition we will avoid. We will avoid repetition. Ambassador Meera Shankar.
A meeting like this, which brings representatives of about 60 countries to J&K, will help countries to reassess their position regarding travel advisories. Because if you go there and you see things for yourself, you're able to better assess the ground situation and to see whether you are in a position to remove the travel advisories. And of course, I would agree that the government needs to work harder to get countries, to persuade countries to remove these travel advisories. Of course, that will be based very much on the situation on the ground, and that various representatives of different countries will be able to see for themselves during this meeting.
But sometimes, ma'am, Ambassador Meera Shankar, before I bring in Imran Nabi Dar also into this conversation, are some of these travel advisories and a political point that is being made, like certain countries staying away? They may dislike the country, they may dislike the leadership of that country, so they will come up with a travel advisory irrespective of facts on ground. Is that also the case in international diplomacy?
Well, some countries take a view, political view on Jammu and Kashmir, and therefore, treat it as a dispute. But that's not the Indian position. And we do believe that it is time that countries also moved on because there is, an international boundary. There's a line of control which has been jointly mapped and signed by both India and Pakistan. And I think that it's in the interest of both countries and other countries as well that we move on. For Pakistan, this has, this kind of policy of strategic overreach, as I call it, has led to a very grave situation where their economy is in dire straits and in a crisis, and where there is so much political volatility. I think that if they want to come to grips with their internal issues, they do need to move on issues.
But Pakistan is quite like a drug addict. It is a terror addict. It may or may not be able to move on, despite suffering this cancer of terror. But my bigger point, and that's why we don't have a Pakistani on the guest. We don't have a Pakistani on the show because Kashmir is our internal issue. G20 is our internal issue. We have both the PDP and the NC. No, I want you to make that point, but I want to bring in Imran Nabi Dar also into this conversation. If tourists are visiting Kashmir, if roads are being built, if infrastructure development is taking place, if foreign investment is being sought, how is this tamasha, Imran Nabi Dar?
See, first of all, about the numbers that you just read about the tourism influx, 1.20 crore, I think you are missing the point. It is just 20 lakh normal tourists who are...
it was 1.88 crore, 1.88 crore, that's the government of India figure.
That includes religious pilgrims to Mata Vaishno Devi and to Amarnath. So I don't think they can be referred to as tourists because
why not?
They are not tourists. They come from pilgrimage. They don't.
You've never heard of religious tourism clearly.
But you cannot, you need to make a difference. Let us make a difference. Let us break the numbers. These are not the numbers that actual numbers on ground. The actual numbers is somewhere around 20. So forget about the numbers right now. As far as this about what Sudhanshu Trivedi साहब said कि इतनी development हो रही है, बहुत हो रहा है, एक real new dawn has awakened in Jammu and Kashmir. If Kashmir is normal for G20, why isn't it normal for holding assembly elections in Jammu Kashmir? I fail to understand this. Another point, now that this trouble advisories thing has been taken up by one of the panelists, simple question: why couldn't Kashmir deserve a ministerial level meeting, tourism ministerial level meeting? As far as my information is concerned, there are delegates, there are middle rank officers, and in some cases embassy officials are visiting Kashmir.
So there are ambassadors and high commissioners also.
But there are the number of you need to look at the numbers, Gaurav. I mean, let us talk about numbers. Let us talk about facts. The facts are clear. I mean, even External Affairs Minister has not come. There has to be why couldn't we have a ministerial level meeting, tourism ministerial level meeting?
So first,
Kashmir?
Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi,
I mean, they would have discussed all the pros and cons.
Okay, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, you want to respond to both the points raised by Imran Nabi Dar?
Number one, I am unable to understand what Mr. Dar is trying to say. That in India, the tourism and religious tourism, in Hindi you can understand Paryatan or Tirthatan, both are of equal importance. I would like to ask, if any Muslim from anywhere in the country uses to visit Hazrat Bal, do you not consider that he will come and contribute to the economy of Jammu Kashmir?
Sir, let us not make it Hindu-Muslim, please. Let us talk about facts.
It has
let us not make it Hindu-Muslim. Let us...
Sir, that's why I'm talking about fact. And now I want to give you. There uses to be a time.
No, let us not.
Sir, I have not disturbed you. Please let me
okay, Imran, whether it's Hindu Muslim, अगर मुसलमान जा रहे हैं पर्यटन के लिए वो भी पर्यटन है, हिंदू जा रहे हैं वो भी पर्यटन है, दोनों में फर्क क्या है? But Imran, just let Dr. Trivedi complete his point. Go on, sir.
Let me. I just want to remind there used to be a time when Hazrat Bal was captured by terrorists.
Yes.
Now this government is allocated 42 crore rupees for improvement the facilities in the Hazrat Bal shrine. So this is for what purpose it is being done? For enhance the tourism. So we have done in Amarnath. So we are doing this. We want to make Jammu Kashmir a case for what? A natural beauty is there. The religious attraction is also there. And the tourist attraction is also there, along with the developmental work which is being undertaken. But as far as those who want to take the thing out of India's ambit, one thing I would like to remind, there used to be an era when on the issue of Kashmir, only one country used to be on our side, that was USSR. And almost rest of the world used to be on the side of Pakistan. Now today the change in era is just one country, China, used to be against us. That is on the side of Pakistan, and almost rest of the world used to be on our side, and G20 is nothing but a symbol of that. And when they will personally see on the ground, I think this will also bring a change in their perception of.
Give me a moment, Mr. Dar. Let me also, the point that you raised, why isn't it a ministerial level? Why isn't it?
Question remains
absolutely. Ambassador Meera Shankar, would you want to take that?
On that,
Should it have been?
Yes. I will also answer that. Can I say one sentence?
Okay, quickly, Dr. Trivedi. Yeah.
Can I say one sentence? But just one line. Mr. Dar's statement, I think it is a compliment for us. It means he is accepting that the situation has raised to that level of normalcy in his own eyes that he can think of having a ministerial meeting. I think this is an achievement from the culmination of so-called Bharat Jodo Yatra of Rahul Gandhi to there in G20. There is a huge change in the law and order situation. And I compliment that you have done. In the near future, that will also happen.
Okay. Ambassador Meera Shankar, would you want to respond to Mr. Dar saying why isn't this a ministerial? Why is it only restricted either to senior officials or high commissioners?
It's a working group meeting, so representation won't be at ministerial level. It will be at official level. But I think what's important is that we should listen to the voices from Kashmir as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And strive for political consensus and political acceptability within J&K as well, apart from what we are already doing, which is this tourism conference. I think there is a way to go before we are able to say that there is, political harmony in J&K, and certainly it's useful and worthwhile for the government to look at, when they might be in a position to hold elections there, which they themselves have said, the Home Minister himself has said, when the situation has improved and it is conducive, we will hold elections.
Najmu Saqib, but you notice the change that's happening. Hurriyat is history. There was no Band call, there was no Hartal call, no calendar is coming from Pakistan. Shouldn't you be happy there's a Naya Kashmir? Why such long faces? There is this argument that is being given that the old leadership of Kashmir is scared that you're losing ground in Naya Kashmir.
Well, I would like to compliment your channel who broke the first story of the news from Ministry of Home Affairs saying that we would slowly and progressively remove army from Pir Panjal and certain districts of Kashmir, and then eventually hand it over to CRPF and police. Look where we are today. I think yesterday, I think it was your channel again. Kudos to you again who broke the story that project has been shelved because the Pir Panjal has been so much destabilized because of so many attacks in the last month that MHA has now reconsidered its own proposal, and probably the Rashtriya Rifles RR will continue again in Pir Panjal. So I think, look, who are we fooling, right? If honestly, on one hand, government is so much paranoia about security that, look, Kashmir is completely turned into a cage. I don't understand. I mean, on one side, you want to boast to the rest of the world that Kashmir is completely normal, but to your own population, you're denying the fundamental rights, you're jailing them, you're completely decimated the political structure. Your own sarpanches, panchis, BDCs, DDCs have all been caged from last 1 week and have been put in secure hotels. They're not even allowed to venture out. Right? Our schools are closed, hotel industry is suffering because of that. And if government of India wants to improve our economy, why are our trucks on the national highway?
1.88 crore जो लोग आ रहे हैं वो पेड़ के नीचे रह रहे हैं अगर होटल इंडस्ट्री सफर कर रही है. नहीं, 1.88 crore लोग आए वो कहाँ सोए? वो डल के किनारे फुटपाथ पे सोए.
Ruined on the national highway. They're not allowed to fly to Kashmir.
नहीं, because
You know
I'm also
that
trying
we
to
are facing a
understand.
serious-
I'm also trying to understand. आस्तीन में भी सांप है, सरहद के पार भी सांप है. तो पीर पंजाल में अगर उस समय सुरक्षा हटाई जा रही थी, you'll have to redeploy when your own forces are being targeted. But
Look,
I want to ask.
Gaurav, you're putting Gaurav, this is wrong analogy. On day one, we said to the government that the Pahadi Gujar card that you are playing in Pir Panjal region will destabilize it. The land eviction drive in Jammu, आपने गुजरों को अपने घरों से खदेड़ा. On day one, we told them that this will have serious ramifications.
एक बोलता है
in
हिंदू
Pir
मुस्लिम
Panjal
ना
region.
करो, दूसरा बोलता है
No,
गुज्जर
it's
कार्ड
not
खेलेंगे.
Hindu Muslim. It's not Hindu Muslim.
लेकिन आप
Those were the frontline defenders.
no,
You removed, evicted them from their homes.
इमरान नबी
They
डार
were the
से हिंदू
frontline
मुस्लिम मत
defenders.
करो.
They were
आप
soldiers
गुज्जर
without guns.
और
आपने
अपर
उनको
कास्ट
घरों से खदेड़ा.
मुस्लिम्स कर रहे हो.
आपने
आप
VDC
अपर
वहाँ पे
कास्ट लोअर कास्ट मुस्लिम करोगे.
Gaurav, do you know the ramifications of VDCs that we have? A couple of days back,
I am sorry,
girl
so
was killed
that's a
because
separate
of
debate.
VDCs is gone.
VDCs is a debate. We will have that debate. But I want to understand from you, and Sudhanshu Trivedi, you must respond to this. This government, in its eagerness to declare normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir, started withdrawing troops and redeploying them to other areas, knowing fully well that in the past such a move had been counterproductive. The moment there is a vacuum, the terror tap is across. Pakistani and the snakes in our backyard will bite, and they're biting, sir. No lessons learned from past mistakes.
Gaurav, again, absolutely wrong.
No, I want Dr.
Say
Sudhanshu
that
Trivedi
as
to
far as
respond.
the instances,
Go on, sir.
instances of infiltration and terrorist activities have come down drastically after 2019. And sir, prior to that, that scenario was not just limited to Kashmir. Before 2014, can you quote a single state of India in which the terrorist attack was not there? From Delhi to Chennai, from Mumbai to Guwahati, from Jaipur to Nagpur, from Patna to Lucknow, from Hyderabad to Pune, Bengaluru, Chandigarh. Now it has been confined, and it is confined to just to 4 districts of Jammu and Kashmir. And even in that, the situation was not there. That used to be a time when Hurriyat leaders used to come to Delhi with a red carpet welcome. Now they used to come to Delhi to face the NIA cases and appear before the ED on the money laundering cases. And these are the first 9 years in the entire history of India in which we don't have any official bilateral talk with Pakistan. Because we categorically said that terror and talk can't go together. There used to be era that after 26/11, just 8 months after 26/11, in July 2019, there was a Sharm el-Sheikh declaration in which they said that the talks will not be affected by the terrorist activities. Sir, there is a huge change in the policy that has paved the way for normalcy, and you wait that we have confined the things to this
Let's
situation,
not derail the debate.
improved
Okay.
up to
Gaurav,
this extent,
I want to make
and in the near future,
sure
we will see
points.
further more.
No, but you are
Gaurav, I
saying
want to
there
make
are no
a couple of
bilateral
points.
talks happening with Pakistan, and you are saying you're not talking to Pakistan. Najmu Saqib's party is very upset you're not talking to Pakistan. In fact, Mehbooba Mufti
No,
says,
Gaurav,
revive.
we are not upset.
Of course,
No,
you
Gaurav,
want
we are
SARC
not upset.
revival.
All
You
we
want
are
SARC
saying is-
revival.
No, Gaurav, we are not upset.
Why do you
All
want
we are
SARC
saying is that
revival?
they have a-
Why do you
No,
want
Gaurav,
SARC
no,
revival?
don't
when
misquote me.
No, I am not misquoting
all
you.
we
I'm
are saying-
misquoting your boss. I'm
They
quoting
have
your
a
boss.
ceasefire in
Sir,
place with Pakistan.
I am sorry.
They are in cahoots with
Sir,
Pakistan.
Sir,
They are talking
hear
to
me
them.
out.
Our
Hear
point
me
is
out.
that if
I'm
they want
quoting
to
your
fight
boss.
with Pakistan, why
Your
are they only
boss.
fighting in J&K?
Mehbooba
Why not fight in
Mufti.
Punjab? They have a
Mehbooba
border in
Mufti.
Punjab, in Rajasthan, in Gujarat.
Mehbooba
Fight
Mufti
there.
is talking about SARC revival. Why does Mehbooba Mufti never tell Pakistan, punish the perpetrators of 26/11, punish the perpetrators of Pakistan, the attack that took place on our parliament, punish the perpetrators of Pathankot, punish the perpetrators of Pulwama?
Gaurav,
Let Pakistan
it's
create the environment for talk.
It's BJP-led government who has initiated talks with Pakistan, and the ceasefire is holding because of that. The numbers that Sudhanshu ji is boasting about infiltration has come down. It has not come down because because of a miracle. It's because they have a ceasefire in place with Pakistan, and they are speaking to Pakistan on Indus Water Treaty, on nuclear proliferation, on everything. But only thing that is they are keeping it under wraps. All we are saying is that if you're talking on multitude of topics, why not include Kashmir? Because we are suffocating and suffering because of that. Our people on LOC cannot.
Sir, you are saying you are suffering. You are saying you are suffering Let me
If
just
they
get
want to
you what
fight, why
people
not
in
fight in
Pakistan are
Punjab,
saying.
fight in
No,
Rajasthan and Gujarat?
let
They have
us
a
say,
border there.
you know,
They have a border there.
आप
For
लोग
how
की
many years will
दुकानें,
we suffer?
आप पाकिस्तान की बात
कश्मीरियों के लिए
सुनो.
सिर्फ जंग है. You will trade through Pathankot in Punjab, and Kashmiris will have to pay the price.
Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi will respond to that, but listen into voices from Pakistan, जहां वो कह रहे जी पाकिस्तान हार गया, इंडिया जीत गया, लेकिन इंडिया के अंदर क्या बोल रहे हैं वो पाकिस्तान भी सुन लेगा. लेकिन अभी let's listen into the Pakistanis.
देखिए बात ये है अगर वो जो इन्फ्लुएंसर हैं जिनकी आप रेफ़र कर रही हैं स्टेटमेंट, उन्होंने सोचने की बात है कि ये स्टेटमेंट दी क्यों. उन्होंने इसलिए दी, देखें इंडिया जो है वो 1 अरब की आबादी है, बहुत बड़ी मंडी है यूरोप के लिए, अमेरिका के लिए, जो अपनी आजकल लोगों के मफादात जो है वो इकॉनमी से जुड़े हैं. आपके मुल्क में जो है आप जितना सऊदीया की तरफ आपका झुकाव है, जितना आपका अमारात की तरफ झुकाव है, तो पहले तो आपको जो बड़ी ताकतें थी वो आपको गुलाम समझती थी. अब जो है वो अमारात और सऊदी अरबिया जो है ये भी आपको अपना गुलाम समझता है. तो बेसिकली आपकी अंदरूनी लड़ाइयाँ इतनी हैं कि अब आप कश्मीर का मुकदमा आलमोस्ट हार चुके हैं.
देखें ये बिल्कुल उनकी स्टेटमेंट को जो है वो तनकीद लोग कर रहे हैं और करना भी चाहिए. उसकी वजह ये है कि वो ऑलरेडी एक कंट्रोवर्शियल एरिया है और उस पे ये इन्होंने G20 की मीटिंग रखी है, तो इस पे वहाँ सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट भी हैं और भी बाकी इश्यूज़ इसमें इन्वॉल्व होंगे क्योंकि वो ऑलरेडी एक कंट्रोवर्शियल एरिया है. तो इस पे
Ambassador Meera Shankar, in Pakistan, the voice on the street says, as you very rightly pointed out, Pakistan has no money. It's in political turmoil. It's facing an existential crisis, and they've lost the narrative war on Kashmir. But are some within our country speaking Pakistan's language when the truth may just be very different, ma'am?
Certainly, Pakistan is in a very dire position right now. And I think their leaders will have to find a way to start focusing on more normal issues like development, like growing the economy, like providing jobs, like providing healthcare to their people, rather than getting bogged down in, creating or directing sub-conventional warfare against their neighbors, whether it is India on one side or Afghanistan on the other. I think this is a policy which has sunk Pakistan economically. It has, given a fillip to Islamic militancy within the country, and it has created now divisions within Pakistan on how to handle these issues. It's not going to be easy, but I think the only way forward for them is to find a way to actually give lesser salience to these issues and focus on how they can improve the lives of their people.
But ma'am, given your 4-decade-long experience plus 4-decade plus experience in diplomacy, you clearly know Pakistan will not do that. I mean, they will continue to spread terror. That's all they've done from 1947 till date. My bigger problem, one, is with those within our country who speak Pakistan's language. That's point one. Point two, what do you make of leaders within our country asking for revival of SARC at a time when Pakistan does nothing to sort out terror, which was the root cause of SARC not progressing?
Well, I think that SARC also came to a standstill because one approach to SARC was that we will be able to pursue cooperation within a regional format, even as we can look at, bilateral issues. They may still remain pending. But that didn't happen because even when we had a free trade agreement or we had other agreements for cooperation in infrastructure, Pakistan made the implementation of all these contingent on resolution of the biggest issues. So even in a regional context, they were not willing to proceed in a pragmatic way. So India has decided that we will focus on the eastern region where our relations with Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and then with neighboring countries in East Asia, such as Myanmar, Thailand, are of a nature which will enable us to move ahead pragmatically rather than allowing one country to hold up cooperation of every other country.
Okay. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, when you hear voices from within Kashmir, you know why I played out that clip from Pakistan was because people in Pakistan say India has brought development to Kashmir. A Saudi Arabian blogger can see there's development in Kashmir. People can see there's a rail line coming, there's a bridge that's come on Chenab. But people in Kashmir and two representatives of two major political parties of the valley and of the erstwhile state are with me. They don't see it. Why have you failed to reach out to them, sir? They are, after all, two prominent parties of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir.
I just want to put forth one fact, then I will talk about the two parties. On the issue of SARC, which has been raised by Mehbooba Mufti ji, I would like to remind the American defense establishment, Pentagon, has taken Pakistan out of SARC. In their scheme of things, they have clubbed Pakistan with the Middle East, with Afghanistan, Syria and Iraq, because they consider that as far as the security aspect is concerned, Pakistan is equivalent to that. But unfortunately, some people are not able to understand, and I would like to remind one of a very prominent thinker which is available on Pakistani television. He uses to say कि हम क्या अपनी generations को पढ़ा रहे हैं कश्मीर लेंगे. I am quoting his word कि मशरकी पाकिस्तान तो बचा नहीं पाए, means East Pakistan, that is Bangladesh. फाटा संभल नहीं रहा, बलूचिस्तान संभल नहीं रहा, खैबर पख्तूनवा संभल नहीं रहा, खाने का ठौर नहीं और कह रहे हैं जी हम कश्मीर लेंगे. I think this unrealistic attitude, and as far as Mehbooba ji and others is concerned, I would like to remind, there used to be a statement by Zakir Musa कि ये कोई कश्मीरियत की लड़ाई नहीं है, इस्लामी खलीफत की लड़ाई है. How many parties have opposed this statement? And Mehbooba ji has said after abrogation of Article 370, she was showing the erstwhile flag of Kashmir. ये झंडा हमारे आइन से छीन लिया गया है. I would also like to ask both our opponents, can they show a single agitation in Kashmir with that erstwhile Kashmiri flag? No. There used to be Masarrat Alam ka hame wo scene yaad hai. Meri jaan, Pakistan, Pakistani and ISIS flags were there. So the fact of the matter is, they were succumbing to those forces which has been very efficiently, aptly controlled by it. And the scenario which is emerging in Pakistan, मैं अपना लाइटर नोट एक बात कह दूं, गौरव जी एक लाइन कह दूं, पुरानी एक हमारी फिल्म थी 1954 की जिसका गाना था आओ बच्चों तुम्हें दिखाएं झांकी हिंदुस्तान की. उसके ऊपर एक पैरोडी का एक फिल्म बनी थी पाकिस्तान में, आओ बच्चों सैर कराएं तुमको पाकिस्तान की. अब पाकिस्तान में पैरोडी जानते क्या बनी है? ना बिजली ना पानी है और ना हिफाजत जान की, आओ बच्चों सैर कराएं तुमको पाकिस्तान की. अरे किस चीज से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं सर? वी हैव मार्च फार अहेड.
सही बात,
नो कंपैरिजन बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान ऑन एनी एस्पेक्ट.
शायद कुछ लोग समझ नहीं पा रहे जो पाकिस्तान की भाषा बोल रहे हैं. जी इमरान नबी डार साहब, क्विकली 30 seconds, go on sir.
They have stuck in 20th century era.
I don't understand why Pakistan being used to target national conference here. I mean,
sir, national. My question was very simple. Pakistan ke log.
I mean, let us not. एक second. Let me.
Go on, sir.
I am not here. I'm representing my political party, which is a mainstream political party in India. So, I mean, as far as Sudhanshu Trivedi's about the state flag is concerned, let us make. There are clean, absolute facts there. There is a case going on in the Supreme Court. If Trivedi ji and his party respects the Supreme Court, then they must not, hurry up on abrogation on burying Article 370. Let us wait. Let the Supreme Court take the final call. It is there, and we are just awaiting when the Supreme Court will start the hearing in the cases. So let us not let us not believe that there is only government which will take the final call. There is a Supreme Court there. There is a hiring pending in the Supreme Court. So let us wait and let us not prejudge it, and let us not talk about Article 370.
Fair enough. I've run out of time on this part. I've run out of this time on this part of the show, but I want to leave you with those images. Najmu Saqib Saab, we'll get you in again tomorrow and day after. We will be tracking the story very closely. But Ambassador Meera Shankar, Sudhanshu Trivedi, Najmu Saqib and Imran Nabi Dar, as always, many thanks for joining me here on this India Today special. While Srinagar is in global spotlight, I also now want to tell you what's happening with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He landed in Sydney a short while back to a rousing reception after rounding off a successful trip, first in Japan and then Papua New Guinea. The images from the Prime Minister's three-nation tour are going viral. We bring you this report.
Waiting animatedly to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi, President Joe Biden hugs the Indian Prime Minister in Japan. The US leader said he should ask for the Prime Minister's autograph. President Biden apparently enamored of the Indian Prime Minister's popularity in the United States. The White House already swamped by requests from American Indians wanting to attend Prime Minister Modi's programs during his state visit to Washington, D.C. next month. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese faces similar challenges. He jokingly complained that the community reception in honor of Prime Minister Modi in Sydney, scheduled for Tuesday, has been fully sold out. The venue, with a capacity of 20,000, is going to be a full house. But a large number of requests are still pouring in from Australian Indians for entry tickets. Prime Minister Modi shared a warm hug with his British counterpart Rishi Sunak. He's meeting with the Ukrainian president and mingling with diaspora Indians. Videos of Prime Minister Modi from Japan's Hiroshima hosting the G7 summit took social media by storm. And this clip from Papua New Guinea touched millions of hearts. Prime Minister Modi greeted with a traditional Indian gesture upon arrival by the Prime Minister of the island country in the Southwest Pacific Ocean. And on Monday, Prime Minister Modi conferred with the highest honor of Fiji by its premier in recognition of his global leadership. India's moment shines once again on the global stage. Bureau Report, India Today.
And the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese told Prime Minister Narendra Modi that he has a problem on his hands. There's the seating capacity at that stadium is only 20,000 people, and he has many more requests to attend the Prime Minister's diaspora event. In fact, the American President Joe Biden said exactly the same thing about the state dinner for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which is next month in the United States of America. That is all I have time for on the News Track this evening. Many thanks for watching. Coming up next is Rajdeep Sardesai. Our top focus story: Karnataka teacher suspended for criticizing Chief Minister Siddaramaiah over Congress's freebies. New state government's action triggers massive outrage. That story and lots more. Stay with us.
Where the software engineer meets the smart market analyst, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
We broke CM Siddha 48 hours before all.
Most of them have.
We broke Deputy CM DK 12 hours before all.
Their exit poll was the exact poll.
We broke Karnataka formula 72 hours before all.
We have that answer for you now on India Today. Siddaramaiah will be the next Chief Minister of Karnataka.
India's #1 political team is unrivaled. Every news break, first on your channel.
You're now smiling and accepting Deputy Chief Ministership.
We have promised them that we'll give a good government with a good governance.
Keeping you ahead is our promise. The war has ended. India Today stands tall.
have talked a lot about global headwinds. We've talked about inflation, interest rates. In India, the scenario seems to be a little bit under control. We've had interest rates, being raised by the Reserve Bank from last May onwards. There is a pause now, and the governor has said it's a pause, not a pivot. But at the same time, we are keeping a close watch on that. And then there is, of course, the global headwinds, supply chain problems continue. How do you see India's growth prospects in this situation, Mr. Perumal?
Saurabh, you're right that there are lots of global headwinds. But I think on balance, if you look at India, rather than headwinds, I see that there are tailwinds. The reason being that several...
So sorry.
सुन लो भैया, इन कर्नाटक लगा दिया बीजेपी के लिए फाटक, ये खुलेगा नहीं लाला। आओ सारे ढोल बजा के हाथ उठा के तुम भी नाचो, जोड़ा जम के भारत हमने डी के खड़गे सारे नाचो, हटा दिया कर्नाटक से कमल हमने सारे नाचो, करप्शन में डूबे सारे राजपाट छोड़ो नाचो, हमने सारा स्टेट जीता पंजा छाया ऐसे नाचो। आजा डी के ओ छागे राहुल ओ छागे सिद्धा, नाचो 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 यारे नाचो 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 नाचो, डोसा खा के आओ मिलके नाचो। बड़े दिनों के बाद धंधना के बाजी जीते हिजाब, अजान जैसे मुद्दे रह के सारे पीछे रैलियों का रेला हारा, जम के नाचो 40% सरकार हारा, ढोल बजा के सारे नाचो, बजरंग बली का हाथ सर पे अपने ऐसे नाचो। अच्छा गे डीके ओ छागे राहुल ओ छागे सिद्धा, नाचो 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 सारे नाचो 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 नाचो, डोसा खा के सारे मिलके नाचो। नाचो भैया कर्नाटक, यहाँ बंद हुआ बीजेपी का नाटक।
Let's give you a sense of the kind of fruits that you should be eating during this time. Watermelon is a fruit commonly found in India in summers. It can prevent dehydration and help in cooling the body. Cucumbers contain a high amount of water. High in fiber, it can help relieve constipation. It's a fantastic summer companion. Curd, an excellent dairy product that can be included in your diet in various forms. Citrus fruits, rich in vitamin C and help in hydration. They act as a cooling agent. They include oranges, lemons, limes, grapefruit, and other citrus fruits. Coconut water. Indian summers are synonymous with our regular nariyal pani. It hydrates your body, balances the temperature, generates electrolytes, and helps in cooling. Buttermilk contains probiotics, vitamins, and minerals that helps your body cool in hot temperatures. Lemon juice, rich in vitamin C, can help lower body temperature. It moisturizes and oxygenates the body, helps in improving the energy levels.